For some of us, we think our past has disqualified us for our future. But oh, my friends, wait until you see the people in Jesus's family tree. That's our topic on this Monday morning. Have you ever gotten to a lineage in the Bible and thought, no, I'm not going to read that. That's like, it doesn't even matter. It's like, why does a lineage matter? But do you know there's nothing in this word that God isn't intentional about? That there isn't a reason that it's in here? And one of the things I love about the family tree of Jesus in Matthew is it just gives me so much more hope for my own story. Because inside of it is everything imaginable. Every kind of decision, lifestyle, it's just everything imaginable. And it starts off this way. It says the family tree of Jesus Christ, David's son, Abraham's son. So it identifies him as both coming from David and both coming from Abraham. Abraham was the father of faith. That's who he was. David was described as the man after God's own heart, meaning David pursued God's heart probably like no one else in Scripture. And yet, David was an adulterer. He was a murderer. He was often a apathetic father and should have led his family in a very different way. And yet here he is being identified as Jesus Christ, David's son. He was part of Jesus's family tree. Do you know who else was part of his family tree? Jacob. Remember us talking about Jacob, the trickster, the one who stole his brother's birthright? Then there's Judah. Judah was one of Jacob's sons who actually committed adultery with his daughter-in-law who dressed up as a prostitute, because he wouldn't pass her down to his other sons after her husband had died, which was what they did in that culture. And then you have, we even talk about Solomon, who was the wisest king who ever lived, who was David's son. But yet Solomon kind of sold his soul to women, and he had more wives and concubines and ended up taking wives that served other gods than his and ended up leading his heart astray. These are the people in Jesus's lineage. And you and I have all kinds of things in ours. We have the alcoholics. We have the abusers. We have the scoundrels and the cheats and the liars and the manipulators. And then we have some of the beautiful things too. The godly prayer warriors that battled for us like Joseph battled for Jesus. We have the painfully beautiful in all of our stories. And do you know what? Every single one of our stories ends where this lineage does. It ends with Jesus. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Jesus gets the final word on our lineage, just like he did on this one. See, if you traced our family tree back, you'd trace it back to Adam. And when Luke does Jesus's lineage, that's where he traces it back to. So that means every single one of us comes at some point through the lineage of Jesus. So who gets the final word? He will. Your family doesn't disqualify you. Our past doesn't have to define us. Jesus does get the last word.